If your ink's too slow and your nib won't flow, here's one of the places that you can go. Larry is here to see you through with Mr. Announcer and Cubby too. It's Larry's Fountain Pen Reviews.
The only problem with it is yeah, if you like lower your hand angle, you can get a little bit of angle to it.
Did they come in a certain size nib?
No, it's just one size.
Okay, and that's a brass nib.
They come in brass and they come in stainless steel. It's called
Yeah,
a Kaka.
I've got mine at St. Louis Art Supply, and I'm putting a link in the chat.
Oh, okay.
There it goes.
You have one, Dan?
What's that?
Do you have one?
No, I wish I did.
Oh, okay.
Hold on, let me see. It's called a Kaka Mori. K-A-K. Kaka. No, Kaki Mori. And it's either steel or brass.
You don't have to twist that?
Nope. Not really. I mean, you can if it feels like it's running dry, but I never hardly ever do. So yeah, I like this. It's great for doing little swatches of ink, and then when you're done, you just and you're ready to go again with another color. Ta-da! The end. But
do they sell different sizes of fine, medium, largish kinds of things, or are they or not? I mean,
for this,
yeah, the nib part. Can you order them in different sizes of?
No, it's just one size fits all.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's like a fine on the tip, and then when you turn it sideways, you get the huge.
Huh.
Yeah.
Looks like fun.
It fits in a normal nib holder, but it's really meant to go in the Tachikawa because it just slides right in there like that.
Huh. Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I also got the, I don't know if you can see me here, but I also got the
drill lug?
Never mind. No, I didn't get a drill lug, but I also got I did get a stainless steel Kakamori nib, and I also got their aluminum holder. This is the Kakamori holder. Okay.
Yeah,
aluminum.
Is it? Oh, I couldn't tell in the video in there. It looks like it was made of acrylic.
No, this is an aluminum one here. It's all aluminum.
Oh, okay. That's a nice one.
This is the stainless steel like yours. This is the stainless steel nib. I also got what they call the pen nib, and I haven't tried it yet, but it's basically it's a nib that you could it's just a pen style nib. Focus.
Oh, wow.
That you can insert in the pen as well.
Right. I have
I got one
of those.
Too, so. I haven't tried that one yet. I was more interested in these style nibs. So I got these two.
Oh,
I got the
that's
brass
beautiful.
and the stainless steel. And I actually, I think, Dan, this is your fault. You were talking about dip nibs a few hangouts ago. And I went, wow, I keep seeing them. I should go check them out. So I got this one from River City.
Yeah.
And then I went ahead and got these nibs from St. Louis Art Supply. And so I got one of each just to play with them. So there you go.
I looked it up while you guys were talking, and they're spelling it K-A-K-I.
K-A-K-I. Yeah,
that's how Miss Marilyn how she spelled it. K-A-K-I-M-O-R-I.
And River City's got the holders for about $95.
Right. I'm sure it varies. I don't know what the prices are, but that's about what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I got my my Tachikawa one for $7 on Amazon. So
oh boy.
I'm just saying.
So Troy, do you get into these kind of nibs and pen holders? Ah, I guess he does.
Yeah, actually, one of the
I can't
reasons I
see.
bought one, I actually had a couple. One of which was just like a feather. It was literally like just a plume, and it could take a nib. And I got some fairly inexpensive nibs, and they sucked. they were horrible. I couldn't get them to work for nothing. I picked them up off from like Wish.com or something. Yeah, don't bother looking on Wish for them. You get what you pay for. So when I was doing that Rolodex full of ink samples, I made it a project for like a couple of weeks. I went through hundreds of ink samples and all the bottles that I've got up here, and all the ink samples that I've got. I had hundreds of samples, and I went through them all, and I put them on literal Rolodex cards. I thought that would be a really cool way for me to keep them right here at fingers touch. I just got, I got this one. I picked it up for like 12 and I think it came with actually a pen stand, a brass stand to put it on. You can see that this one was ivory, but I sure got it stained by putting it down inside those sample bottles, those little vials. And my hands were filthy, and that and the Q-tips, doing the Q-tips for the swab, because I just used Q-tips I picked up at Dollar Tree, and I was dumb enough to say, it's got two ends, so I might as well use one end per. And of course, you flip it over, and now you get ink all over your mitts, and I looked like a big old Smurf for a while. But this one came with a nib on it, and I wasn't happy with the nib that it had, so I just got a bunch of like number 6 nibs that I'd purchased over time, some nicer, some cheap, and just an old Bulow number 6 nib for my purposes. Bulow is not like a Jinhao, so it's like a number 6 Jinhao nib, and it actually did pretty well with that. So I experimented with them quite a bit. I've been wanting to pick up like some Esterbrook nibs eventually and start playing with those. I've seen them. I've just never nibbled at them online when they've been up for sale. Speedball nibs, I've seen them. And I just haven't jumped at anything for dip pens so much because I've got 500 plus fountain pens to play with. So it just didn't, it's not something that interested me until I figured, if I'm going to be doing ink sample after ink sample after ink sample after ink sample, I'm definitely not going to, ink up a fountain pen for those. And so that's where I invested in getting a few decent or seemingly decent pen holders. But, this one's nothing special. I mean, it's just an ivory colored plastic. And that's all there is to that. You're asking about that pink pen, my wife's pink pen. We didn't get my wife's one, but my little boy, Benjamin, with his own money, by the way, he spent his own $25 and he got that. That's the Acriv in a red acrylic. So
Very nice.
if you just have a much lighter and it's a pink, it's a nice light pink shade is the one I got for Sharon. And that's
Really
a titanium
nice.
nib, a titanium nib. And it writes really well. It's a fine nib, and they only really had fine nibs available. They didn't have a lot of selection for these because they were going fairly inexpensively. But it's probably actually a medium. I do believe I asked for a medium, but they write like a fine. But it still writes fairly nice for $25. I've got no complaints. And it's they make their own. They do their own acrylics, and you can't beat that price with a stick. So with a titanium nib, $25 sold. And then when they gave it, no, buddy, you can take it with you back to your room. Thank you. And then when they added my wife's onto the Ebo right, and they gave them to me both for $80. It's like, and then they threw in all those leather cases and stuff along with it. I'm like, really? Because all of us got pen cases. I'm like, wow. So pens must be a whole lot cheaper to make and produce and distribute from India than around here. So they must be getting a fairly decent return on their investment coming all the way over from India to sit in DC and just be popping $75 and $25 sales. That must do them well.
Were there a lot of Indian sellers out there?
There were a couple of them, actually. There was, and this is another one they gave him too.
Nope.
No, is that the one you've had?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's not the one they gave you then. Okay, thanks, bud. Well, there you go. I don't need it, buddy. You can hold on to it. There were a couple of Indian sellers, and they were on the lower level. Some of them in the hallway, and there was one guy that I actually looked at his stuff, and I asked him what the material was, and I said, "Is that ebonite?" And he said, "Yeah." And so I picked it up, played with it. I said, "Oh, that really interests me because it was a big black ebonite. Imagine that, Mike." So I dip it and I go to write with it, and he said, "Yeah, that one's acrylic. You just told me it was ebonite." Yeah, you lost me. so I put it back down, and he was like, "Wait. Sorry, yeah, you lost me with acrylic on this one." So, anyway, I can't complain, man. That's a sweet writing pen. I was just surprised at how great that one wrote. And with a broad nib, it's buttery smooth. So $70, and it holds a ton of ink. I mean, that's just a huge ink capacity on that too. So I won't run out of that anytime soon.
There you go. Okay. You're back. All right. Well, we'll come back to you, Mr. Einstein. Anybody else wants to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to show something.
Okay, Mr. Stan, take it away.
Have you ever was low on ink in the ink vial? Well, the way to get that leftover ink in your pen is this. This is a grommet. The outside diameter of that grommet should be, what is it, 5/8, and interior either 5/16 or 3/8. So let's see if I can show it. You just put the grommet in like this. Let me stop it. There you go, like this. And then you just put the pen in. Stuff that sucker in there. And you get an absolute vacuum seal. You won't drop a single, you won't spill a single drop of ink.
So how do you get the ink in there?
Huh?
How do you get the ink in there?
Well,
You have to,
no, if you have the ink in there already,
yeah.
and you're low, this will allow you to flip it and get the rest of the ink in your pen.
Ah, I got you. Okay.
And
I got a question. Okay, I got a question for everybody. Let's go back to Noodler's Day. When Noodler's came out with the cartridges that you can fill up, remember those?
Yeah.
How do y'all like those, or do you have any problems with them? Did they leak? What? Well, I guess I must be doing mine wrong because mine comes out in the cap.
Comes out in the barrel, you mean?
No, in the cap. It leaks out. So I stopped. And then it leaked on me.
It comes out in the cap.
I'll have to send you one, let you play with it, okay? So be careful with it.
Yeah, I because they're
If I can find it.
made of the same material as the push-pull converter, aren't they? That's an eyedropper, Peppy.
Peppy! Where's mine at? I don't have a Peppy somewhere. Come
Yeah,
here.
I just eyedropper preppies. So that's my Bay State blue pen.
Yep, that's what I do too. Yep. Love Preppies, but I love Preppies. I've been looking for my calendar and I cannot find it. Where is that stupid thing at? Oh well. All right. But yeah, for some reason, either I'm not filling it right or it's leaking, or so I haven't really used them much at all. So All right. What is your take on the new Delta?
New Delta?
About
What is
13,
the
I think
plus
it's
one?
1400 bucks for the new one, which is going to be for Delta. Yeah.
So what does
Yes.
the plus one mean?
What you
40
think?
years. They're like 40 years in business, but they
Right.
actually went out of business for a couple of years. So I guess that's must be the derivative of the 39 plus one.
Yeah.
That's that, I guess. But yeah, they were a sponsor of the DC show, so they had their, the big 39 plus one on the bag. I probably have one of their. No, that's a Chatterley bag. But I got one of their DC show bags or tote bags around here somewhere, and I didn't really get a chance to see any of the Delta stuff. Then again, I wasn't really looking for it. Sometimes with brand revivals, you do well. Sometimes not so much. What I've noticed, anytime a brand gets revived, so does the price. The price goes on steroids. I've had Delta. The one first Delta I ever had, Larry, was yours.
Yeah.
That Dolce Vita, and I'm not willing to spend $1,300 on a Delta just to find out. And quite honestly, I know it's back weighted. It's got a weight that you can put in the back that supposedly is supposed to make it better for calligraphic writing. So they claim. I don't know, but I'm not willing to spend $1,300 to find out. I mean, I've had a few Deltas. I still have one in the drawer. I think I've got the Israeli 75th anniversary edition in my drawer, and it's a nice looking pen. I'm glad I didn't pay any more than I did for it.
Not $1,300 worth.
I didn't pay no $1,300. That's like 4 times what I paid for this one, or maybe 3 times, about 3 times what I paid for this one.
That's
And
incredible.
I'm not willing to pay that much for it. They look good. They look nice, but look, let's be honest. It's the same thing with Esterbrook. The Esterbrook name, venerable name in fountain pens. When Esterbrook was revived, it sucked. Whoever restarted the Esterbrook pen company, which by the way, I'm told are the same folks who did LaBeouf or LaBeef here recently. The vintage LaBeouf.
Okay. I got you.
That's a vintage name that was just recently revived. And essentially all they did was they took a Lorelei pen and rebranded it, put their name on it. And that's what it is. It's a Lorelei. And Lorelei sells them for about the same price I got this one for online through a seller, but they're selling them online for $150 for a $32 pen. A $32, $36 Lorelei that you can get is being sold in the States for $150 for the revived name.
That's
Now,
unbelievable.
I've got an Esterbrook
Well,
here.
everything is bigger in Texas, right? So the price has to go up.
I don't even know if they're out of Texas. I think they're out of Jersey, I thought, but I don't know. It's like I've got an Esterbrook here that I bought, Charles Schultz edition Esterbrook, and it was horrible. I fought with it for a long time, and it sucked, and I was so disappointed with it. Well, then Kenro bought Esterbrook, and I was hopeful that they would bring up the quality, and they did. But boy, did they bring up the price too. So when you're starting to look at some of the Esterbrooks for $300 for some of their editions, $150 to $300 price category for Esterbrook. I restored an Esterbrook just today, a desk set that that someone's going to end up with here in the mail here very shortly. With the old 8-ball, with the long desk set. Because I've got somebody I know that would do well with that, and included an extra fine nib because of the kind of work that they do. You know, those you can still get decent old Esterbrooks, but the new, you know, the new pens, they look good, they write well, but let's face it, they're just sticking a Yovo nib. You know, it's nothing that Jim Hines doesn't already do and Mike can do, is put in the exact same nib into something that they create too. So go figure. But so the new Deltas, yeah, I mean, they look nice, but I'm not willing to pay $1,300 to find out. I know Dr. Joe can probably afford it, but I can't. So.
No way I can. Yeah, I'm not going to take a gamble either. Yeah. And then let's see, is it the Cypress pens? Is that the right name for them? What'd you take on that? It looked pretty nice, but then, you know, I know Mike can make some. So what's your?
Oh, you mean Mr. Cypress?
Yeah.
Oh, the one with the
Nice.
owl and the eggshell and the, oh, they're beautiful.
Mm-hmm. They've got some good looking pens, and some of their prices weren't half bad.
Right,
for what they were. You know, some of them were halfway decent, but some of them I'm looking at going, yeah, I'm not spending that. But yeah, maybe someday for me. But
Yeah.
it's not high on my priority list.
And where's all the new pens that's been out? If y'all think of any, let me know. I'm trying to remember here. Nah, slipped my mind. Sorry, folks. Nope, can't grasp it right now. So, oh, she has one. All right.
This is Michael Riggs pen, Larry.
Oh, okay. Yes. Mine's in the bedroom
Yeah,
desk.
it's the dark
Beautiful,
purple,
isn't it? Isn't it beautiful? Stunning,
and
lovely.
cap. The end
I
cap
think
is the blue,
beautiful.
and so is the rig on the cap, and then the end finish.
Yeah, Michael Riggs does some really good work. Yeah.
He does, and look at how the wood matches.
Yeah,
between
it's
the
just
cap
beautiful.
and the
Yeah.
body. It's just
I can't say
beautiful.
enough about Michael Riggs, and he does some outstanding work. And it's a process to make this pen. You just don't make it in 3 or 4 days. It takes time to put everything together. So, yeah, but yeah, Michael does some great work.
And that's the medium nib.
What
that
size
came with
nib
it.
do you have?
It's a medium.
Medium, okay.
Yeah, but it's so lightweight because the wood. I mean, it's a really light pen, even though it's really big.
I love it.
It's kind of girthy, but I really love it.
Yep.
I'll tell you, some custom makers here in the States that they do good work like that. You know, friend, you were asking about Mr. Cypress. You know, like I said, I'm not knocking any of his stuff at all. I mean, he's got some beautiful looking stuff and some at decent prices. But you know, when I go to a pen show and I see Ryan Krusak's work, and some of the absolutely gorgeous woods that he's been using, then I'm just drooling over some of the work that he does and the scrimshaw work that he does.
What is that one there?
This one is a Griffos. It's an Italian company. I got it at the Chicago Pen Show. It's sterling.
Yeah.
So it's sterling, but it's got rose gold accents.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then it has the purple ostrich body. So it's wrapped in purple ostrich.
Wow.
Which is, Linus will tell you, purple is like my thing. So, but I fell in love with it, and I went back and looked at it like 3 different times before I actually bought it. So, but you know, the pen case, the sleeve to go with it, and ink cartridges, and he filled it for me with the Edelstein, which is what I've been using in it, in Sapphire, and it's beautiful. And you can actually change up the caps and pick exactly what you want it to look like.
Oh, wow.
So this one's called the Nero Muse, and it's got the stripes in the cap. And then you can see it's got the little hallmark on it that shows that it's sterling on the back of the cap right here.
TIFO? Griffos. TIFO?
Griffos. GIFROS.
Yeah, I reviewed one of the pens. It was sterling silver. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, back. Yeah.
So that was my big splurge at the Chicago show.
But you know,
And
it was
then I got-
surprisingly on the pen that I was reviewing, it was only going for $250 and it was sterling silver.
Mhm.
Really
Yeah, this one wasn't more than that because I had a strict budget when I was there. So I left spending under my budget, and I got I got a Parker 51. I got the repair pieces I needed for a 51.
Uh-huh.
I got a Lilliput that was in a junk pen box for $20. And then I got my Quaco iridescent.
You know,
And a
I
couple
had a
bottles of
problem.
American's notebooks, but
Have y'all had a problem with the new Parker 51 that came out with it last year, I think? Well, mine would, I thought it had a baby soft bottom, but it would stop writing. But a friend of mine, Dr. Holstein, we were talking one day, and a friend of his has the same pen, and so does Dr. Holstein. And the friend of his found out the problem. I believe it was at the cap. There's a little bitty hole there, so he glues it, and that's what he did to my, and bam, it writes like a dang dream right now. Love it, love it. Inked up still, yep. So no more problems with that. Didn't know that either. So that's some words of wisdom. Not for me, I don't have any wisdom, so I'm just here. So
Nero, you're so funny.
no, I just look that way. My hair's falling out. Oh, mercy. So
I was
anyway,
just-
who's next?
Like, I was just
Oh, we got one here.
I was just looking at this is Fountain Pen Revolution's website.
Yeah, I
They
have one.
have Urushi art fountain pens for $150. and I want one of those, and I want a Jelly Bean 3.
I want one of those.
Not the
I want
glue.
one of those. I want one of those.
I want one so badly. But
Who makes those?
$400
Ooh,
Art
ooh.
Loft pens, but not for $446. It's not.
Mike, I bet you could put the word in for some blanks, something like that.
Well, I've asked Jim Hines to have his resin pourer try and make me a pen. So it's in the process. I just have to wait. I don't want to wait though.
Mike, do you have anything like that in your blanks?
No, I know Miss Marilyn mentioned it before, a rainbow pen. I looked around and I've seen the Jelly Bean pens, and they make a bunch of other blanks that are similar to it. Their blanks are amazing, but as far as I know, they don't, I didn't actually ask, but they don't offer them for sale. So, you know, and I imagine the blanks would be expensive. They look expensive.
They're
They look like they're hard to get.
amazing. They have
They're
like
beautiful.
they have these multiple different types of rainbow, and they have like the one with the black and white and one with the white and the black.
Oh, wow, wow.
They're
I kind of
just,
like the unicorn one.
yeah, I like all of them. Like if I'm in trouble, you guys. I'm like, this is like where it's at. I mean, some of these resins are
That
just
that blue one looks like one of the Pelican City pins.
it does kind of look like it, huh?
Well, I
Yeah.
have a 65th birthday coming up in a couple of weeks. Don't you think I should maybe get myself something nice like that?
Yes, I think you
Absolutely.
should. These are beautiful. Anyway, I just
None don't have clips on it.
does it have a what?
Clip.
No, it doesn't have a clip. Yeah, no.
Thank you. Huh. Yep. All right. So as we move on, who would like to be next? Dun, 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 dun.
Did you guys see Django? He jumped up and was giving me kisses a minute ago. That's the newest member of my
No.
family. We
Aw.
rescued a Belgian Shepherd Malinois.
How old?
7.
Oh no, we need to see that dog.
Come here, Django. Come here. Come here. Come up here. Come here. Up. Come here.
Oh,
Mhm.
hi, Van.
Look at
Look at the baby. Look at the baby. Oh, hi, baby. You want to come meet Mr. Slime Dog
Shut up. Yeah,
for a walk?
How many dogs do you have now, Tina?
just one.
Just one?
Just one. Yeah, just the one right now. So, but he
So
popped
does
up.
anybody- Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We were talking about the breed, and he popped up at the animal shelter for the county and called, and we brought him home on Saturday, 2 weeks ago. So,
Is he well behaved?
oh, he's so well behaved. It's not even funny. He heels, he walks, he chases, he plays fetch all day long if you let him. He walks on a leash like a dream.
Oh, that's good.
So, yeah,
So,
yeah, he's very happy in his new home.
Oh, that's sweet.
So that's the only other new thing that I got recently.
anything new on the new Van Gogh, the one that came out, was it last year? It wasn't the Irish. It was a new one that came out with well, the same one, I think, but could have been a different design on it. Like 200 and, was it 85 or 250? Does that ring a bell? Anybody? No.
What's it
New-
called?
The Visconti Van Gogh is one of the newest ones.
The rollerball?
No.
I haven't seen any new Viscontis.
That was last year, I believe. Anyway, I got it, so
You did.
I love it. Yeah, I really do. It's a broad nib, of course.
The
I
one
write
thing
sloppy anyway, so that'll help me write sloppier. See, so
The one problem I don't like about the whole Visconti's thing is their hook safe lock. I almost broke a $400 pen at the Los Angeles Pen Club because I couldn't figure out how to open the damn thing.
oh,
I'm all sitting here pulling and twisting, and the lady's like, "Be gentle. You have to pull, twist, and then pull." And I'm like, "Are you serious? Like that's just too many steps. Like just one or the other, but not all three. Come on now."
Hey, Larry, is your pen Visconti? Is it the Woodstock? They've got one
No.
called the Woodstock.
no.
Very colorful looking. Huh.
Mine is they don't come in those original bunkers they used to anymore. They come in a different box now.
It's not an Il Magnifico or a Lo Peña. Homo sapiens? I mean,
No, you Michelangelo, I believe. Pen. You know, they came out once with the iris, and then the different designs, the shoe, soft shoe, and all that stuff.
yeah. I know that Visconti, from when that one fellow was on here, we talked about it quite a bit, that they don't really make their own nibs, but they're
Visconti
going
does
to.
now. Yeah.
They're going to, or they are going to. But I'm wondering about the really older ones, the older vintage ones. Did they make their nibs then, or are they also
No.
Joe-Wo's? Even back then, they were Joe-Wo's.
Yeah, they're making their own nibs now in the house.
Now they are, but way back when, I mean, I've got a couple old
No, they had the
ones.
Palladium back then, and then they did come out with a few gold nibs. Not very many, but they did. But if I could be wrong, but I'm thinking that they didn't make them in the house yet. Troy, you have any feedback on that?
Yeah, I thought they were Bach made.
Huh?
I thought some of their older ones were Bach, but I got a spreadsheet somewhere that had that documented at one point. That I thought that they had old Bach nibs at the point. I don't remember.
This is the one that mainly I was wondering about. I don't know if you can see it on there or not.
Is that a Rembrandt or?
It's
No. Oh, okay.
it's
No,
Van Gogh.
that's your vintage one.
It's an old Van Gogh. It's got the the clip is held on with a bolt through here.
Yeah, yeah,
And if you look at the clip, it's not got the sideways where you can read the Visconti on the side. It's an older one.
yeah.
And they had an attempt at a locking mechanism, and this is an older one, so it can kind of come apart a little bit, but it's like-
Isn't it magnetic?
no, it's not. This is before magnetic. It's quite a bit older, but it's got like a little half turn,
It locks.
and it locks, but it doesn't lock so great anymore.
Right.
It does, but I mean, it can come apart kind of easily. But I talked to the Van Gogh Visconti rep down at the St. Louis Pen Show, and he offered to take it with him at the time and mail it in for repair. And I didn't want to part with it, you know. But I hate to call that a repair job, but I was just curious if there was anything they could do with the plastic or whatever so it didn't kind of fall apart so easily. But the reason I was asking about the nib is this is a beautiful two-tone nib.
Gold
And
nib,
I
isn't
just-
it?
yes, it is, and it's a two-tone gold nib, and it just says Visconti on it. You know, it doesn't say if it was made by Bach or anybody else. It's got Visconti's name on it, but it's a two-tone gold nib, gorgeous nib, writes like a dream. It's a fine nib, and this is like one of the third pen I ever bought, and love the heck out of this pen, but it's a real treasure. But the new Visconti's has that new kind of lock where I have one of those too. You push it and
Push,
turn,
twist, and
Right.
pull.
push, and it's like a spring-loaded something in there. I'm kind of liking the idea of the magnetic. That sounds like a good deal there to me. Now, Mike
I
Green,
just-
he's going to be putting magnetic closers on all of his new pens, I heard.
I just
That's
found
The magnetic
knew-
ones like
No
that.
extra charge either.
Troy, let's get a close-up of that one. Troy, let me see what you have.
Yep. Here, it's the magnetic like the Visconti Van
What's
Gogh.
the name of it?
Iris. That's the Iris,
Oh.
the Van Gogh Iris. But he was talking about the magnetic.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the difference. Just
you ever have a problem with ink spitting out of there because of the suction
None
of
on
the
that.
mic? No, that's good.
never had on that. And you're talking about the twist lock. I know I've got one. I'd have to dig through it. I've got 4 containers of pens to clean. And I know that my Homo sapiens is in there somewhere. So I'll spare you me digging through them to try to find it.
Oh boy, I found another treat.
Hmm.
Oh my god.
Leonardo?
That's a Leonardo Officina Italiana. I don't know what that rainbow one is, but I want it so bad.
And I also put a
Pretty,
link in the
pretty.
chat to another pen that's actually, if the girl, Fly Girl Elliott, if you guys follow her at all, and she's got her own pen line out now. She just bought one of the ones I put in the link in the chat off from a pen maker out of Raleigh. That one right there.
Oh, cracked ice.
Oh,
Yeah, that is a.
that's beautiful.
That is gorgeous.
Wow.
And he's got a few variations of that design, but yeah, he's a nice guy too. I enjoyed meeting him at various shows, and he's not far from here. The honeycomb
that's
pattern.
unique.
So who is that, Troy?
Little Pen Designs. I'm trying to remember his first name. His last name is Little. But as I recall, Joe Little, and he's only 35 or 40 miles from here. And I see him at pen shows all the time and talk to him and look at what he's got. I haven't nibbled at anything he's had just yet, but I've had my eyes on a few. And that one there, the nougat one, that was the first one you showed, is one that I've been eyeballing, but they keep getting snatched up before I ever get one.
What kind of price points is he got on there?
As I recall, they were under $200, I thought, but
$155-ish for this rainbow one. $155 for this rainbow one. $155 for that rainbow
and
one.
oh, by the way, this guy was actually, as I recall, was taught by Jim Hines. It was one of Jim Hines' students.
Cool. they all seem to be $155. So good.
Larry, what was that name? What was that name, Troy? Larry, what?
Joe Little.
Oh, Little.
I'll put the link in the discussion.
So Marilyn, once you put the websites in the link and stuff like that, do you have to get them before the Zoom closes? Is that right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, if you put them in Messenger, that's better for me. Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome.
And Marilyn, could you please put Mr. Loft in there too?
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
I'll send you a personal link. How's that?
Cool.
Okay.
Alrighty, folks. Anybody else? Time's getting close.
The time has come to talk of things, of ships and sealing wax, and cabbages and kings.
I think it's nice that Larry's able to put the Zoom together. It's the first we've been able to get together and just chat about whatever we wanted to for a long time. It's I really appreciated the guest speakers that Larry's had. Got a lot out of a lot of those things. But it's also good to just do the old pen pal deal where we just kind of hang out, and it's just nice to see so many faces that I haven't seen for a while. And kind of over the last couple of years, I'm getting to where I kind of like you guys even.
We tolerate
You
you
know,
too.
I'm kind of thinking that depends how I feel. I like to maybe do it once or twice a month on a Sunday at 6. You know, like we're doing
Yeah.
now.
That'd work.
I know Dan and I for sure don't want you doing it at like noon on Sunday.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, no 10 o'clock in the morning, none of that.
Yeah.
No 9 o'clock at night either.
Yeah.
That's
And maybe even Troy, I heard him say he attends church, so maybe that's not a good time for him either. So no noon hour kinds of things.
I think
Especially,
a monthly meeting is pretty good. If you have them too often, you start to lose people, But if you don't have them often enough, you lose people too. And so, I think.
is that how it works in your church?
Yeah, that's true. It just depends on the weather.
Oh!
Fair weather friends,
Yep.
Yeah.
So, folks, anybody else? Now's the
I
time.
have a quick question. You were
Go
talking
ahead.
about closing, and I've had something I've been thinking about. I'll just ask what you guys think, okay? So you have a pen, you make a pen, or you have a pen, whatever. And like this one, I don't know if you could see it, but it lines up between the cap and the barrel,
oh, that's
Right.
probably it.
right?
Mhm.
Which a lot of pens do, oh shoot, I've lost your name. You were showing the wood pen that matched up, right?
Yes.
And,
Mhm.
right. And so I have a question for you. So normally when I make a pen, I have, and I don't know about the wood pen you were playing with, you were showing us, but normally I have a what's called a triple start thread between the barrel and the cap. And so I marked it just a moment ago while you were talking about it. And so when you put the pen together, one of the positions it can start in will line up. Oh, I did it. And see, I marked it now
Mhm.
on with a couple pieces of tape. So it's lined up, right?
Mhm.
But if you're unlucky and you put it together, and if you're like me, now I moved it to another position on the threads, and now look, it closes, but it's not lined up. You have to memorize what position to start at. I'll do another jump. There's another jump. And see, I've gone to the other two positions where it won't line up. But if you do it just right, it will line up. And for me, that would drive me crazy.
Yep.
I would
I'm the
always be
same way.
going, I would
Yeah.
always be, I would call it OCD or whatever it is. I would always be going, okay, now I need to memorize, and I would do it like here. Okay, so if you set it together if you memorize how the patterns go together, you can do it. And there, I did it again. It
I have a
lines
custom
up,
one
but you have
that
a
has a
1 in
picture on
3
it.
chance of doing that, right?
Yeah.
If you just do it at
Mhm.
random. So one way to solve that, I don't know if on the other pen, on your pen, if it's that way, one way to solve that is do a single start pen thread where it only starts in one position, will always stop in one position. So it will always line up. But the problem is, if you do that, it will take more turns to
Oh,
open and
yeah,
close
like
the pen to have some
20 times.
mechanical.
Close
Right.
it.
I would
So
rather
some
have,
people are
this
really
on my-
religious about opening their pen. I mean, if it takes more than 1.5 or 2 turns, they throw that pen away, you know,
Yeah.
oh,
right?
gee, I can't imagine that. I
Yeah, some
would
people
prefer
will.
it that way.
Yeah, some
I would
people,
prefer
you
it
know,
that
so if I went to a single start thread to make this one always open or always close correctly, like it's not doing now, it would take 3 times as many turns to have the same amount of meat, if you will, for the pen to hold itself together. So I'm just curious, how do people feel about it? Would you rather have it always hit at the right spot?
Always
And-
hit at the right spot.
I would vote.
and-
I would vote always.
Okay, well,
I would
see,
vote
this one
always.
here is
I
made
wouldn't go,
with a
no,
triple
I'd
start. you know.
rather.
Now, what I have found with these pins, what I've found with these pins, Mike, is that I have to be gentle when I put them back together again, because sometimes they feel like they're going to kind of catch
Yeah.
and start wrong. When it feels like it's going to
Good
start,
video.
I kind of back off really gently with it, and then it goes together just fine. But for some reason, this one always comes out pretty much okay. But this is one that Mike gave this one an all-seeing eye.
That's
See it?
brilliant. I like it.
This is my eyeball. This is what Mike did that just for me. He knew that I would like that. Then on the other side, look at that. Cool. Huh?
Wow.
Yeah.
All seeing eye on this side, a little thing there. And he's going to make a miniature of this just like that. It's going to have the same stuff on it.
So Mike, I was
So that-
wondering, is there like is it a way to make the angle of the twist steeper? So that way you don't have to twist it as much, but you still get the one single.
Well, that's what you can actually do a lot of things with the threads, of course. You know, I'm just talking about normal threads though, like this. You know, usually they'll have, like on this pen, like I said, this is a triple start, so it actually has 3 different threads going at once. So it moves 3 times as fast as it would if it was a single start. It would only move by 1 of those positions per revolution, which is 1 millimeter in this case. You can go with much coarser ones. And the extreme, though, is to go to something like what Visconti does, which you don't like, which is it just kind of clasps and it's done. Yeah, it's got that hook closure. I have a Homo sapien, and I love it too, but you do have to know that you have to push it together as you take it apart. You can't be pulling because it won't open that way. Yes.
There's like, there's like a way that you could like make the angle steep and then make it like taper off a little bit so that and that way it wouldn't. But like, I don't like the whole having to push it in to take it out. I just
understood. Yeah, I've seen some where they have really coarse threads.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have one at hand here.
I don't have one.
Well, like here, I've got this menu, and you can see it has coarser threads than what I'm using. So you can do that. Whoops.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And there are some that are really extreme like this, where it's like the threads are really deep. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, but I mean,
thick. Yeah.
You've seen some. Some of them have really deep, and they only do like 1 or 2 turns that way, but because they're so deep and thick, you know. This one's probably twice as fast as the thread I'm using.
I would think if you grab, or someone who grabs that with your fingers on the threads, that's going to feel worse than the triple start, because the triple start is so fine, you won't really feel the threads.
Yeah, these threads are definitely, you know, bigger and deeper. And another thing, I have a friend who's very particular about it. On these, not to make fun of them, whatever, but the threads are really, you know, rattly when they're not closed completely. Once you thread them together, they're nice, they're fine, you know. And of course, once they're open, they're fine. But when you get them halfway, the cap is pretty wiggly on those big threads like that. That's just the way the threads are made. You know,
Either
really
that, or you could do the thing that I love with my Conklin pens. Watch this.
Okay. And Mike isn't concentrating.
Yeah, I'm trying to
It's
see
like
what you're doing.
it's metal on plastic, and I'm just
Okay.
twisting it off, but like I'm not putting any effort into it. It's just the friction of it is super slick, you see.
Okay, so you're just spinning it then?
Yeah, I'm just spinning it to get it
Okay,
to,
that's what I was
to
looking
close.
for. Yeah. Okay.
Well, okay,
Well, good.
folks, we're gonna wrap it up for now, and then I'll give everybody a holler if we meet next Sunday or the Sunday after. But I want to kind of keep this on a continuous flow. I think we all had a good time, didn't you know? We can talk
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
and then we can talk about inks and pen holders.
I got inks coming in, so it's gonna be exciting.
Yes, but it will be fun. So Frank, thank you for watching the house today for us.
Yes, thanks.
Now it's time to say goodbye to all my bony company. All right. Peace and love, and Ringo's still alive. See you later.
Bye.
Good
I
night.
know you love it. I know you love it. Don't you just love it, girls and boys? Yeah, the real deal. Later, baby. Later.